But there's just some things that I still can't wrap my head around, like I'll instantly go to. Hey guys, it's Amanda. As an American living in the UK, the school system has always been a little bit confusing as it is so different to the US. Now, to be honest, I've never had any reason really to know about it. It's not like I was joining it anytime soon.
You know nothing.
But over the last few years, I've been working it out, and it has been explained to me, but I feel like there's probably some more that I could learn. So why not watch a video explaining it? Hopefully I'll come away with some new knowledge. But what would you say is the biggest difference between British and American schools? Let me know in the comments.
Hi, I'm Siobhan Thompson and this is Anglophenia. Now, many of the most beloved stories from the UK are set in schools, all the way from Tom Brown's School Days to Harry Potter and the History Boys. But the British school system is remarkably different from that in the US, so much so that it's often the first thing that Americans ask me to explain to them. So, here is the Cliff's Notes version of how the British school system works, but study up because there's going to be an exam at the end of the video. Public schools and state schools. What Americans call private schools are called public schools in the UK, and what you call public schools, we call state schools. There are also some private schools that don't call themselves public schools, they call themselves private or independent schools, but most of the ones that Americans are thinking about, you know, where people live in a mansion and wear a very silly uniform, are called public schools. Got it? Most state schools these days are comprehensives, meaning that they accept students of every academic ability, but there was a system that's still in place in some areas of secondary modern and grammar schools. There, kids take a test at 11 to see what type of school they'll go to, the grammar schools being more academic and the secondary moderns more vocational.
So I feel like that was a lot of information already. One thing I cannot wrap my head around is that what we call private schools are public schools here, and then public schools are state schools. It is just confusing. But I have actually heard of the grammar schools and secondary schools, but I didn't actually really know fully what the difference was. And I think it's great that kids go based on their ability to which school works great for them.
Church schools. There's no separation of church and state in the UK, so many schools, both state and public, are church schools. Oddly, this doesn't translate into later church attendance, which is much lower in the UK than in the US. Sort of like how most people don't use algebra after the age of 18, I guess.
True. So I'm assuming with this one, the only really big difference is what type and how much religious studies are taught to the children. Like, I'm assuming they all still follow the national curriculum. Let me know in the comments if you know a bit more.
Uniforms. Pretty much all schools have some kind of uniform, ranging from a school jumper all the way up to the white tie and tails that they wear at Eton. The idea behind it is to create a sense of identity and school pride. See? Still fits. Prefects. In British schools, older students can be chosen to be prefects. Being a prefect sounds super cool, but in reality it mostly entails policing the lunch line and stopping the younger kids from hitting each other. You do get a cool badge though, so that's something. Most schools also have a head boy and a head girl who attend school council meetings and give a speech at prize giving at the end of the year. Oh, prize giving is the closest thing that we have to a graduation ceremony.
Mental. No graduation ceremony. Like, we used to go all out. We'd decorate our cap with like glitter and whatever sequins, and then you'd throw it at the end. That's just not a thing here. And also with the prefects, I guess the equivalent would be like, we have like hall monitors and class officers that were elected by the student body to get things done, maybe things done that we want, etc. So I suppose that's sort of the same thing.
Exams. National exams are a huge part of the British school experience. It's all very simple. You take GCSEs at 16 and then A-levels at 18, which are kind of like AP exams, but different. Also, in Scotland, they study for Highers instead of A-levels, and GCSEs used to be called O-levels. Also, AS levels happen in the middle of A-levels. Look, it's just, this is the most complicated bit, I promise. Yeah. Revision. This is just what we call studying for exams. It's not a biggie, just a lot of people seemed confused about it. Juniors and seniors. Instead of the American system of elementary school, middle school and so on, most British schools are divided into juniors and seniors. Junior school, also called primary school, is for 4 to 11-year-olds, and senior school is for 11 to 18-year-olds. At some public schools they divide it up a little differently. They have pre-prep from 4 to 7, prep from 7 to 13, and then senior from 13 to 18. Sixth form.
It's honestly so different. To be honest, with one of the things I do find the most confusing is the exams, because there are different things. Like, we take the SATs, and that will, like, in 12th grade, so that's the year you graduate, and that will decide kind of what college or university you can go to, because they look at those scores. But yeah, the junior seniors, we have like elementary school, which is like 3 to 8 usually, then middle school, and then high school, and that's it. And then you can either go on to college, university, or a trade school, etc.
The last 2 years of school is called the sixth form, divided into the lower sixth and upper sixth. The name is a hangover from a previous, more complicated system of naming classes which has stuck around for some reason. In many schools, sixth formers are given a lot more freedom than the other students, often being allowed to wear their own clothes instead of school uniform. Cool. University. You apply to do a single subject at British universities and only study that one thing. No maths or language requirements or any of that other stuff that you have to do at American colleges. Bachelor's degrees generally take 3 years, and you know what, let's just cover this in another video, it's very complicated.
Yeah,
so there we go. Are there any things about British schools that you have questions about? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also, if you have any other questions about British culture, you can tweet us at Anglophenia, and maybe your topic will be covered in another video.
So I know it's because I've grown up with obviously the United States system of education, or I should say Pennsylvania. I guess it varies by state. But there's just some things that I still can't wrap my head around. Like, I'll instantly go to the American way. Blah, 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 blah. The American way, which I guess is normal. But yeah, I do feel like I do have kind of a good understanding, because I didn't understand most of what she was saying. Apart from, I still get confused with like the A levels, the AS levels, the GCSEs. I do get them a bit muddled up. But obviously when it comes time for me to know what they are, I will. One thing she didn't touch on though was key stages, which are a bit confusing as well. There's a lot to know. There's a lot going on, like compared to the US system.
Hey, I don't feel great about this, but I don't hear anyone complaining.
I do think it's fantastic. I think it is much better than most of the US school systems, at least where I grew up. I think the standards are higher here. And I'm not sure if she mentioned it in the video, but isn't the school system slightly different in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland? To make it even more confusing, it's not all the same. But what are your thoughts? Any of my fellow Brits here have anything to add? Let me know in the comments, because as always, I'd love to hear from you guys. It's how I learn. So as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, smash that like button if that's what you're into, and I'll see you in the next video. Aphrodite, then